Hey friends, hope you're doing well. We're going to start off with the Project 2 solution video here. So this was our really bad text-based adventure game styled after the famous Zork adventure game. But again, ours is real basic. So we just are going to have several actions and navigation options for the player to choose from, a help option, and they're just going to be stuck playing until they enter a secret escape word. So one of our actions will wound the player, and if the player is wounded, they're required to sleep before they continue. The only acceptable option for a wounded player is to sleep, and after they sleep, they're no longer wounded. There's a couple ways to handle this. I think most of the people I talk to went with the easy route. I'll show you the easy route, and then maybe a different approach that might be fun. And then we have at least 4 actions, 4 navigations, and then if it's not recognized, we display the help, and that secret escape word that ends the game. And then we're also going to count the number of turns that the player's in the game for. We don't count help. Right? And so if it wasn't one of the valid commands, we don't count it. So we start up a new project here. We'll call this one Project 3. And I'm going to put it in my repository. I'm not doing it in the assignment repository because I want the code to be available for you there. And we get some starter code. So inside of main here then, we can go do something. Now, we had talked about, for the lab exercise, doing this with methods. And I think it might be fun to do that with methods. So you weren't required to use methods at all, but I want to show you how we could solve it with methods. And I think it could work out relatively nice here. So one of the things you did for the lab was post what your main might look like if the only thing it did was call methods. Right? So we could do something like that. So we might have, say, a string for our secret escape word. Secret escape word is, I don't know, get me out of here. Sure. Right? And then we need to, oops, I'm losing all my curly braces here. Oh goodness. Just give it a format. Control-Alt-L. There we go. Control-Alt-L for format. So we got our secret escape word, and then we might say get the player's choice, right? So maybe we'll say the string for the choice is get player choice. Sure. Now we don't have a method get player choice yet, so we're going to have to write that. So we can write a public static string get player choice method here, which will go and get the player's choice. So we might say, I don't know, what do you want to do? And then if we're using this inside the method here, we need that scanner object. So scanner keyboard equals a new scanner, given system.in. All right, so we can use that. And now we need to import scanner, right? So our little helper hint here. Yeah, Alt-Enter, or import the scanner. Come on. Import the class for java.util.scanner. Great. And then we can get their input. So then we'll get their string for their choice is keyboard.nextLine. And we can return the choice. Sure, so we've got their choice. Right? And we can say while choice.equals ignore case the secret escape word, or really we could just put that inside of here if you wanted. Like that's okay too, not too big of a deal. And really, while it's not that one here, then we need to go do the next thing. Right, so we'll get the player's choice, and then we'll figure out what they're going to do, and we'll get them out of here. So we could even, right, really set choice at the top of the loop here. And then all we need to do at the beginning here is just set it to an empty string so that we know that the loop will run at least once. Sorry, let me zoom that in a little bit here. So the loop will run at least once because an empty string does not equal this for sure. We'll get the player's choice. What do you want to do? And then we need to compare it. Right? So then we can see, I don't know, so check for valid option maybe. So we'll say check for valid choice given the choice as a method here. So if we have a public static, so checking for the valid choice doesn't even really need to return any values here. We might be able to here in a minute. We'll figure that out. But for now, we'll make it void. We'll call this check for valid choice, given a string for choice. Right? And then here, then we would see, okay, is it a valid choice or not? So if my choice equals ignoring case, like go north, then we can print out you go north towards the forest. Right? Sure. And if it's not north, then else if my choice equals, how about go east? And if it was east, then we'll print out you go east towards the, does forest only have one R? I feel like it only has one R. I think I spelled that wrong. Go east towards the mountains. right? And then if it wasn't north and it wasn't east, let's check if it was south. Go south. You go south towards the, I don't know what you want to say. You go south towards the ocean. Sure. And then if it wasn't north, it wasn't east, wasn't south, how about go west? And if we say west, you go west towards the, we have forest, you have mountains, you have ocean. How about the swamp? Why not? And if it wasn't one of those directions, then we might say, how about jump? Right, so jump. Okay, so you jump up and down. You jump up and down. That could be an action here. And then we might have hide as an action. You hide from the monster. Sure, why not? And then if it wasn't jump, it wasn't hide. How about it was eat? And we'll say you eat some beans. Sure. And if it wasn't jump, it wasn't hide, it wasn't, oh, not east here, eat. I can spell eat here. How about sleep? You know, so if you wanted sleep as an option, you could do that here. That's probably the trickier way of going about this. So we'll stick with the easy way here, and we'll say fight. So this one, you fight the monster and get wounded. You need to sleep to recover. So the easy way, and what most people did here, is they would do another loop then. And they would say, while choice, I don't know, so maybe I have a different string here. So a string for sleep starts off, sure, and then while sleep dot equals ignoring case sleep, and while it's not sleep, then we should say you need to sleep. You need to sleep. Sure, and then we'll get their input here. So it's my keyboard.next line. Oh, but it doesn't know what the keyboard is, right? That lit up red. So we then need to copy paste this little scanner thing over here. We'll put this up at the top. Why not? Could go right inside here, but this is okay. So the only thing they're allowed to do then is sleep. Right at this point. And if they didn't enter sleep, we just tell them you need to sleep over and over and over again. This was the easy way here, and there's nothing wrong with that approach. I think that's relatively easy. A trickier approach would be using some sort of other value, whether or not we are wounded or not here. But I think this is probably a fine approach for us here. Okay, so we've got our actions here then, right? For actions, for navigation commands. Now, if we don't recognize, we need to display the help. Okay, so let's go do a help. So if it's not any of those then, right? Else, if I don't know what it is, say you can go north, go east, go west, south, go west, and then I'm going to bump this down a line. What is it? Jump, hide, eat, and fight. Right? Those are our options. So those were the, maybe we should put all those in single quotes, I guess. Those are your valid options. So if you didn't do one of those, right, then we'll tell you these are the things you can do. Okay, that's to check for a valid choice. Now, this one here, we're not counting anything yet, right? So the game works here, but we're not counting the number of turns that they've played. So let's give it a shot. Let's see how well it works here. So we'll just come up and hit run main. And again, main's pretty simple here. It's like get the choice, check for valid choice. It's not a whole lot going on in main here. So really like two methods and then the loop happening. So what do you want to do? So let's eat, let's hide, let's fight. Okay, we need to sleep. So anything other than sleep just tells us we need to sleep. Then what do we want to do? Maybe we tell them like you had a nice sleep or something. I don't know. So maybe we could add in here. You sleep and feel all better. Sure. That at least gives them a nice message here. And then like go north. Oops. Go north. Go west. Go east. Go south. You know, those all look pretty good, and we get our help. So looks like it's working out pretty well. And then if we do type in the get me out of here. Get me out of here, exclamation mark. Oops, we get a, we get the message here and then it ends. So I guess it's not exactly proper here. So we probably want to check, right, if we get out of here then, right, so make that, well, maybe before the else here. Maybe we'll do the else if the choice equals ignoring case, get me out of here. Oops, too many quotes. Get me out of here. What do we want to do? If they do that, then really we don't need anything to happen. It's no big deal that it just, you know, we want nothing happens. Because what's going to happen here then is this loop will finish, and then we can say you made it, you got out of the game or something. the game, right? Because that really ends that loop there, essentially. Let's see, give it a run. So we can say get me out of here, and then, oops, get me out of here. Get me out of here. There you go, and you get out of the game. Congratulations, we got out. So other options should work here. But now we're not counting turns. We need a way to count the turns. We need an int for turn count. We're going to start off at 0. Every time we ask them to make a choice here, well, really, only valid choices should count. So we should check then. So valid should probably return something to tell me if it's valid or not. So we can have this return a Boolean, a true or false. So the else here means it's not valid, so we can return false there. Right? So this will return a false. If it was not valid, then we're not going to count it. Everything else here, then, we can return true. Now, you could put it inside the ifs, but this is fine. So it'll return true at the end if it wasn't one of these here. So then we can say, we can check, we can say if, check for valid choice here. If that was true, we'll take our turn count plus plus. Right? If it's not true, if it's false, this doesn't run, and then we're good to go. Again, maybe doing a little bit more in here, maybe we could add in some other methods for counting turns and whatnot here, but I think this works out relatively well. You know, we could turn that into another method if we wanted to, but I think this is probably okay. You know, we could always break that down a little further, but you know, so we get out of the game in just blank plus turn count turns. Another plus here, we can concatenate those. Let's try it. So if we go north, it's 1 turn. Go south, that's 2 turns. Get me out of here. That should be our 3rd turn. We got out of here in three turns. Right, and we should make sure help doesn't count, right? So let's try it again. So let's do, you know, anything, da-da-da-da-da-da. None of those should count. Get me out of here. Exclamation. Took just 1 turn to get out. So I'm feeling pretty good that we checked all those boxes off. Let's take a look here at the rubric. Again, we can do a little sanity check. We got 4 possible navigations, great. 4 possible actions, great. 1 action wounds the player. You can only sleep, great. Help option, yep. And the game loops indefinitely until we enter the secret escape word. Display the number of turns the player spent playing the game. Fantastic. So that is it for Project 2. Hopefully that went well for you folks. If you have any thoughts, questions, or concerns, let me know. And again, please turn stuff in. If it's not done, you can still get partial points, right? So the pieces that do work, score yourself partial points and give yourself points for doing those parts. If the whole thing doesn't work, that's okay. But, you know, ideally, you've talked to me and figured out why it wasn't working. But I had several people reach out today, and unfortunately, several in the evening when I wasn't available. So hopefully they were able to turn it in for some partial points at least. But again, I can't take these late because I'm posting video solutions. And, you know, once there's that solution out there, I'm not going to accept it. So, all right, you folks take care. I'll see you in the next video.